So as I was watching the ninth inning unfold tonight at Citi Field, I said to myself, well, I know what I'll be talking about on the program tonight. Chris Soriano with you, 877-337-6666 is your two-way sports talk telephone number, as it always is, on the Fan, taking you up until 5:40. Jerry and Al coming your way, and it's the morning show, and the whole entire FAN Sports Talk Day starts all over again. And yes, the Yankees lose tonight in Philly. Shutout. It happens. They're human. But that'll be the least of our worries tonight. That's on the back burner. What happened in the ninth inning tonight at Citi Field proves my point that I've been saying all along, even before the season started, that Mickey Callaway is in over his head. Way in over his head. It's not even close. It's not even a discussion at this point. Now it's just laughable. Now it's silly. What we saw in the ninth inning tonight, and Ron Darling nailed it on the SNY telecast, was Callaway does not have a feel for his pitchers. And that's a problem. And this is a guy that the Mets hired, and all the Met fans who are now killing him, by the way, on social media. I see it all over Twitter, all over Facebook, all over Instagram, the hashtag Fire Callaway, and everything's going on there. They want him gone. I think it's worse than the Giants and McAdoo. Oh, well, I don't know. That was pretty bad. That was pretty bad. But this is rivaling that. It's brutal. Yes, the Mets are always the laughingstock, but it's still New York. And these Met fans are getting restless. And I don't blame them. Because Ron Darling's right. He doesn't have a feel for his pitchers. And this was a guy that when he was hired, 100%, everyone was, this is the guy we need. This pitching staff that we have, this all-star pitching staff, it's going to take us to a pennant. And now we're bringing in a guy from Cleveland who had that pitching staff, and he molded that pitching staff. Oh, and he molded it. That pitching staff was all his. Blah, 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 blah. This and that. He's coming over, and we have the pitching guru. The pitching guru of the MLB is coming over, and he's going to manage our team. And how's that working out? Because so far, Callaway, not only in the ninth inning of tonight, but he has shown throughout the season so far, early on in this 2018 campaign, that he does not have a feel for his pitchers. And really, he doesn't have a feel for New York. Let's face it, folks, he has said some pretty dumb things early on to start the season. Whether it was not caring about wins and losses, or, well, this isn't Cleveland, it's New York. New York is too tough. Just stuff like that he's been saying. It really doesn't resonate, and it's not something that you should be saying as a manager of the ball club. And I don't understand why Mickey Callaway is getting so snarky with the media. Usually you get snarky when you, win. Look at Popovich. The career that he's had, love him or hate him. He can be snarky with the media all he wants. All he does is win. Now, what puzzles me most of all in this ninth inning is this. Familia throws 29 pitches last night. How are you not warming somebody up already? Really, how are you not? Now, somebody asked him that, and Mickey Callaway basically was, well, how dare you ask me that question? He's my closer. Why am I going to warm somebody up? And was asked specifically, why did you not have Swarzak warming up earlier? And Callaway said this, direct quote, end quote, when you put your closer in, or the guy you want to close that day, you've got to give him a chance to close. If you set that precedent, it'll be tough in the long run. End quote. But what Mickey Callaway is missing here is, yes, he's your closer. I understand that. I understand that, Mickey. You got me there. You got me. Hands up. You're right. I'm wrong. But here's where you're wrong and I'm right. Because when you throw a guy out there for 29 pitches the day before, and he's not, that's a lot of pitches. For a guy that he only pitches one inning. It's not like it's a long relief guy. So you have to have someone at the ready going in. And if Familia takes offense to that, well, guess what? Too freaking bad. And he couldn't get an out tonight. Not an out. And I'm not saying Swarzak has been better this year, or he's been just great, but at least it was a fresh arm. Totally wasted. Just wasted a tremendous effort by Wheeler. And that's the thing with the Mets. This year they've just wasted so many solid pitching opportunities. DeGrom being obviously the lead guy. I mean, what they have done to that poor guy is brutal. But tonight, you couldn't get much worse. You couldn't get much worse than the absolute dumb coaching, the dumb managing of Mickey Callaway. And there's no other word to say it. It's just dumb. It's lazy, it's bad, and you can't have that in New York. Now, Peterson looked great in the 8th inning. Why not put Peterson out there? And this is what gets me also. Familia threw 29 pitches last night. 29. You bring the kid Peterson in. Looks good. 9 pitches in 2/3 of the 8th inning. 9 pitches. 6 of them were strikes. But the key word was 9 pitches. Why, oh why, are you going to Familia? Why are you going to a guy that threw last night? Just ride the hot hand. See, this is what bothers me about baseball, folks. Is that people are programmed, well, it's the 9th inning, I got to get my closer. No, wait, whoa, hold on. If your closer pitched yesterday, and in the Mets case, they really don't have a steady bullpen, you go with a hot hand. You start Peterson for the 8th. Or you start Swarzak for the 8th, and you give Familia the day off. Because what it resulted in was 3 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 1 walk, and couldn't get it out, and another 18 pitches. And Swarzak came in, struck out 2, but gave up a couple of hits. He couldn't get out of that mess that Familia got the Mets in. That was too big of a mess to climb out of. But he's starting to sound like Art Howe. In terms of they battled. Well, guess what, Mickey? The battling's not good enough. And when is Mickey Callaway going to take responsibility for this team? Because so far he hasn't. And so far, what his biggest flaw is to me is that there is no accountability on this team. None whatsoever. 0. There is 0 accountability on this team. And this is New York. You got to have accountability. Somebody's got to be taking blame for something. And the fact that he has not made his players take responsibility for anything. And he hasn't fessed up. Now, granted, the front office has done a horrible job. Horrible job. Mickey Callaway hasn't done much better. And tonight, you finally get a solid outing out of Wheeler and you waste it. Not what you want. And by the way, Gazelman, this is another guy that the Mets wanted you to believe was the second coming. See, the last couple of years, you've had the Mets front office and the Mets announcers and the people on SNY rave about these pitchers, rave about them, so they don't have to go out and spend any money on pitchers that are out in the market. Oh, well, we have the farm system. Look. We have this guy, we have that guy, we have this guy, we have that guy. And Gazelman turned out to be another one of those guys that just aren't that good. Horrible loss for the Mets tonight. Yankees get shut out 3-0 at Citizens Bank Park in Philly. And listen, it happens. It happens. They had a rough weekend getting swept by the Rays. Bounced back, took the first 2 of the series, and then lost today. No big deal. You got Boston coming up. That's a big series. They need that. The thing that the Yankees will be playing for in the summer is whether they get the division or the wild card. The Mets will be looking to finish out of last place. Because Miami's starting to heat up, dare I say it. Now, if the Mets don't start turning things around, the Mets could be a basement team in the East. Dead last. In a division where you have Miami, who everybody thought was going to lose about 150 games this year. And it all starts with the manager, who's doing a horrible job, who's not taking accountability, and is making these dumb moves. And if this is a guy that you brought in because of his, quote, pitching prowess and his, he's just a guru with the arms, I think he got gypped. I think he's been cheated. Because there are guys, and you have this in the NFL too. You hire these coordinators, and then, well, what happened? I don't understand. Maybe it's because the talent that was already there was exactly that. They didn't really need coaching. They didn't really need development. Maybe Mickey Callaway wasn't as big of a part of the Indians' pitching as everybody made him out to be, and I said that when he was hired. And so far, he's showing that he is by any stretch of the imagination, Mickey Callaway is no pitching guru. And he's certainly not a manager, especially in New York. 877-337-6666. It's Soriano with you on The Fan until 5:40.